The last class we discussed about the list arguments and aliasing, then how to deal with the similar values. So in list, what happens when we have similar values? Only one image will be stored in the memory. The remaining the other object will also point to the same object. So today I'll start with the dictionary. So as we know that a dictionary is based upon the concept of key value pairs, which is nothing but the hashing technique. To retrieve, to store and retrieve the elements, it depends upon hashing technique. And once we know that what is the key, then we can retrieve a particular element. Otherwise, it is not possible to retrieve a particular element within the dictionary. And another thing about dictionary is that we can use any string value or integer value. No, normally we use any integer value or a string value as a key for dictionary. Apart from that, we can also use a tuple. Okay. Unlike lists and strings where elements are accessed in values. See what happens in strings and lists, we use the index value to access a particular element. So, for example, index of 0 means the first element, and index of n means the last element, like that. But here, similarly, instead of the index, here we use the key to access a value of that element. The tuple can be made as a key for dictionary only if that tuple consists a string, number, or a subtuple. That means if that even a tuple can be an key value for a dictionary, provided that it contains some integer value, string value, or a subtuple. Otherwise, even it cannot be made as a key. And lists are mutable. That is, it can be modified using index assignment, slicing, or using methods like append and extend. They cannot be a key for dictionary. That means since since the list elements can be modified, we cannot make it as a key for dictionary. That means we need to understand what are the limitations of dictionary. A string or a tuple can be an index for the dictionary. Why? Because they are immutable. And list cannot be the index for the key for the dictionary. Why? Because they are mutable. That means we can change the values of the list. Hence, we cannot consider that as a key for a dictionary. Whereas we can consider list or a string as a key value for dictionary. One can think of dictionary as a mapping between set of indices and the set of values. Set of indices are nothing but which are attributed to the key values in dictionary. Indices will be a set of indices will be considered as keys and set of values. Now, how to create a empty dictionary? So this is the empty dictionary. So we can create a empty dictionary in two ways. One is using the dict keyword or the dictionary constructor like this, so which works like a function to create a dictionary, or just you can name the dictionary name and you can open to brace. Okay, you can open empty braces that indicates an empty dictionary. Then how to add elements to an dictionary? This already we have done while studying about the sequential data structures. So now we are entering the first element. Mango is equal to fruit, where mango is the key and fruit is the value. And here d of banana is equal to fruit, where banana is the key and fruit is the value. Now you can see here, more than one key are having the same value. So that is possible. That means more than one key can have a same value, but you cannot have one. You cannot repeat same keys twice. That means always remember the keys are unique. Whenever we create a dictionary, the keys are always unique. For example, while creating an mobile phone contact list. So you can assign mobile numbers as keys and names as values. See why? Because we can have so many people can have the same name, isn't it? So, for example, there can be more than one Asha, there can be more than one Kiran, but always the mobile numbers are unique. So, therefore, to decide whether to consider the mobile number as the key or the name of the user as the key, so this is the criteria which will decide what to consider. So, since the mobile numbers are always unique, it is better to consider mobile numbers as the key and usernames as the values. So if you look at these two examples, d of mango is equal to fruit and also d of banana is equal to fruit. Therefore, more than one key is pointing to the same value. That is fine. That is allowed. Whereas if you repeat mango twice as a key, so it will not allow. It means the keys must be always unique and values can be redundant. That is fine. Then d of cucumber is equal to veg. So here you can see the use of square bracket. To initialize the value of a particular key, we can use square bracket. That means while adding elements to the dictionary, you can use d of mango, that is within square brackets. Within square brackets is equal to value. Then how to print all the values at once? Using the print statement, just specify the name of the dictionary. So here the name of the dictionary is D, hence it can print all the values at one shot. Then how to initialize? So this is like creating this example is like creating an empty dictionary. After that, we have kept adding the elements one after the other. Now, for example, while creating the dictionary itself, if you want to initialize, so how to do that? See here, telephone directory. See in this example, we have considered names as the key and phone numbers as the values. Actually, which is not a good practice. So it will be reverse. Actually, it should be reverse. So this is just for example demonstration. So telephone directory is equal to Tom is the key and 3491 is the number. 3 is the name. It is the key and 8135 is the number. So like that you can initialize. You can initialize like this. Then remember, while creating the empty dictionary, so if you put flower brackets also it will work. If you put common brackets also it will work. D is equal to two flower brackets or two common brackets. Both will work. Here after initializing creation and initialization of the dictionary, we are printing the elements of the dictionary. So it will print like this. Then if you want to add one more element into the dictionary, so you specify what is the name of the tree, what is the key, what is the key. 1 minute, students. Students, I am back. So when you want to create a new element, if you want to add it to an existing dictionary, we can specify the key of the new element and we can store the, you can specify as value like this. So now if you print, it will be printed like this. And one thing we need to remember, students, while displaying the contents of the dictionary, it need not be in the same order that you create. Okay, say for example, you'll create you will enter elements in the sequence, but while displaying it, there may not be a proper sequence. That is fine. Why? Because when you store dictionary, it will not make use of the arrays to store elements in contiguous fashion. Instead, it will make use of the linked list. So therefore, here the elements are not stored in sequential order. Hence, while retrieving and displaying the contents of the dictionary, the sequence may vary. Okay. For example, in system Jerry may be the second, and in somebody's system it can be the third element also. Donald can be the second element, and Jerry can be the third element. So that is okay. So for you, what matters is whether you are displaying all the elements or not. And in case if you want to display the specific element, then you should know the key of that element. Without knowing the key, it is not possible to display the specific element. That means only one element. If you want to display, you have to know the key of that element. Otherwise, you have to display all the elements. So that's what specified in the note here. Note that number of elements in dictionary is unpredictable. That is in the above example. Don't assume that Tom3491 is the first element and Jerry is the second element. It can be reverse also. It depends upon like how it will be stored in your memory. It will not use arrays. Instead, it will use it's a non-linear data structure. So therefore, it use linked list to store them. So now how to print a particular element? As I told, you are supposed to know the key of that element. So now I want to
Sir,
display what is the phone number of the user. I know that there is a user by name G. So
sir,
telephone directory of G. Print of telephone directory of Jerry.
hello, sir.
It will print.
Hello, sir.
So now you see, yeah.
Sir, your
Hello.
voice is too breaking.
Actually, for me, network is there. Maybe your end, network is low, I think.
No, sir. Hello.
See, students here. Yeah. See, in dictionary,
So for me
there is
also it is
spanning
breaking.
between.
Sir, so many of them getting same like
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Same, sir. Same thing.
So even here,
Uh, Actually, I'm in my village. For me, it's showing network is there. Full network is showing. Mm. Okay, 1 minute. I'll change the network. I'll change my network. Let us see. Yeah, right now I'm using Geo. Now it is showing network is there. Hello. Now is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine, right? I have changed the network. Students, whenever we say dictionary, so each key maps with a value. Each key has to map with some value, and it is allowed that you can have the values redundantly. That means, say for example, Tom, Tom, the value of two keys can be can yield to the same value. That is fine, but repeating the same key twice is not allowed. Always we need to keep in our mind that the keys are always unique, whereas the values can be redundant. What happens when you have same value for more than one key? As we saw in the previous fruit example, 1 minute I'll show you here. Yes, you can see here d of mango is equal to fruit and d of banana is equal to fruit. So if you look at this example, we have a dictionary by name D, and both mango and banana are pointing to the value fruit. So in this case, fruit will be stored only once, and it will be having two pointers. What are those two pointers? Are nothing but mango and banana. Mango and banana are the two keys pointing to the same value fruit. So in the interview, if they ask you, so if you are storing the elements like this, d of mango is equal to fruit and d of banana is equal to fruit, how many copies of fruit will be stored in the memory? Only one copy. but more than one key will be pointing to the same memory location. Okay, that's how dictionary will work. Then what if you have d of mango twice, so it will not allow only, it will not allow you to create such elements only, it will just throw an error. Once if you are executing d of mango is equal to float, once again you are trying to enter d of mango is equal to some other value, it will not take, because the key is repeating, twice, so which is not allowed as per the dictionary creation rules. If a key is not there in the dictionary and if you try to access such key, then the key error is generated. Say for example, now there is no key by name Mickey and I'm trying to access it. So it will generate an error and we call such an error as key error. Okay, see, this is the interpreter error. Interpreter has thrown this error, so that is we call it as key error. Print of telephone directory of Mickey, which is not at all existing, so it will throw the key error. The len function on dictionary object gives the number of key value pairs in that object. See, when you apply len function on string, it will give you the length of the string. When you apply it on tuple, how many elements are there, that will be returned. Similarly, when you apply it on list, it will tell you how many numbers are there in the list, which is nothing but the length of the list. Similarly, when you apply length function on dictionary, it will consider how many key value pairs are there. See, one element means it's a pair, that is key and value both must be there. So similarly, it will check within the given dictionary how many key value pairs are there. That value will be returned as the output of len function. So now here you have Tom, Jerry, and Donald. We therefore three key value pairs you have. So the moment if you apply len of dictionary name, it will return three. Then how to apply in operator? We know that most of the times we use in operator to check the existence of a particular element within the data structure. So that can be string, that can be list, tuple, dictionary, or anything for that matter. Now here we are checking Mickey. Mickey is what? It's the key. Remember, when you are using dictionary and if you want to apply the in operator, you should apply it on key key value, not on the value part of the dictionary. You have to consider key. So you are checking whether Mickey is there in telephone directory or not. For output is false. Always we know that in operator returns boolean value either true or false. We don't have any key by name Mickey, hence it returns false. Similarly, if I check it for Jerry in telephone directory, output is true. Why? Because there is a key by name Jerry. Then 3491 in telephone directory, false. Why? Because we don't have any key by name 3491. The dictionary object has a method values which will return a list. Okay, similarly, if you want to check the values, you have to use the values method. Okay, so then only you can specify the value portion. Otherwise, by using the in operator, you should never ever, so unless you are using values method, you should never ever specify the value part of the dictionary. See here in this statement, you have this is 3491 is the value. Why you are using? Because here we are using the values method. Otherwise, you should never try to check for a value by using the in operator. See here the output is true. 3491 is the value under telephone directories. It will check all the values of the what this statement will do. It will check only the values of all the elements. If any value, okay, with the name 3491 is there, it will return true, else it will return false. So therefore we need to understand when we can use values method. We can use values method only when we are interested in checking for the values in the entire dictionary. When in operator is used to search a value in a list, then linear search algorithm is used internally. That means you need to understand it will check sequentially. As we know that linear search is also called as sequential search, and the logic behind this values method is the linear search. It will search the values one after another. So that means it will check sequentially. So that means 850 times it has to check sequential manner. So it consumes lot of lot of time. Hence, we have to rely on a technique called as hashing technique. So where that hashing technique, as per the hashing technique, we are supposed to know the key. Once we know the key, so straight away, that means it in one single search it will pick. If you specify the key, it will go to the particular location where that key is pointing to. So and it will pick the element. It will pick its value. So therefore, that is the advantage of using hashing technique. Now the major difference in using the values method and the hashing technique is that, say for example, you have 1000 entries of your mobile contacts and you are searching for some 850th value. If that is the case, 850 searches it has to do. So first search not matched, second search not matched. So sequentially it will go up to the 850th. So by the time it will take a lot of time. So instead of that, as per the hashing technique, if you want to know, okay, which user mobile number you are interested in, so you pass that key so that it will fetch in one search. It will do one search. So time complexity wise, always hashing technique is preferred. Now, how to use dictionary as a set of counters? Okay, so look at this scenario. There is a scenario that I have given. Assume that we need to count the frequency of alphabets in a given string. So frequency of alphabets in a given string means, say for example, you will enter hello. So how many times H is present, how many times E is present, how many times L is present, and how many times O is present. That is called as the frequency of alphabets. Hello, hello students. Hello, hello.
Sir,
Yeah, for a moment there was no network. Okay, so now we are back. So now I was explaining about the dictionary. So when you create a dictionary, what we have to do, say now the problems string. Within that, we will find out the frequency of the alphabets. Now, what we do when see here, the alphabets are considered as a key, and the frequency will be considered as the value. Whenever the alphabet appearing for the first time, we'll enter it into the dictionary, and the count will be 1. Then, when the element is when the alphabet is occurring for the second time in the string, then we just increment the value, but we don't make any new entry. Okay, that is the best technique to find out the frequency of alphabets within the string. Now you can see this example. You can see this example. S is equal to input enter a string. We are asking the user to enter a string. Then we are creating a blank dictionary. As I told, while creating the blank dictionary, we can use dict function also. Dict is the function which stands for dictionary. It will create one empty dictionary. For ch in yes. Now what is s? S is a string. Ch represents one alphabet in each iteration. That is, ch is a iteration variable. If the alphabet is not part of D, then add that element. So we are adding that ch, and we are
Sir, hello, sir.
we have the one value. 1 plus 1 is 2. So here, so this will increment the count, because in the value portion we have the integer value. So when the say for example when you enter a hello string, see L Students, today network is interrupting a lot. Sorry. Students, I was explaining this sample output. So enter a string. Hello world. Each alphabet is considered as the key. You can.
Sir, before example, once more explain, sir.
Huh?
Last example, once more explain, sir. That time your network was not good.
Yeah, which one? You tell me the last example.
That for CH, you're telling no, sir.
Yeah, okay, for loop, yes.
Sir, today your
See, first
internet is
initially we are asking the user to enter a string. So user is entering a string value. Let us assume we will enter hello world, and after that we are creating an empty dictionary by using the dict function. Dict is a dictionary function, inbuilt function, which stands for dictionary, which will create one empty dictionary by name D. So D is equal to dictionary means it will create one empty dictionary. Now we are applying for loop for the string. This is the string. For that we are applying for loop to consider one alphabet at a time within the string. Now the ch represents one character in each iteration. In the first iteration, say for example hello world is the string entered. H is the first character. So since already the dictionary is empty, so ch not in D becomes true. Why? Because already it is empty, nothing is there. So D of ch, that means we are entering H into the dictionary and we are assigning its value as 1. And we are assigning its value as 1. Okay. Now the loop repeats. It will go for the second character. What is the second character? Hello world is a string, isn't it? Second character is E. E in S. Okay. Ch not in D. True. That means E is not there already in the D. So therefore D of E is equal to 1. Okay. Next. After that, third character is L. L in D. Yes. It is occurring for the first time. So D of L is equal to 1. Repeat the iteration. In the next iteration, so it once again it is L. Now if ch not in D, this fails. Why? Because already we have entered L into the dictionary. Now D of ch is equal to D of ch plus 1. What is D of ch is 1. D of ch is already 1. So ch plus 1 means 1 plus 1 is 2. Now just we are updating the value. D of L is equal to 2. So earlier when we entered D of L is equal to 1, now it has become D of L is equal to 2. That means it instead of creating a new element by L, it will just update the value of the dictionary element by name L. See, here is L. So when the L is occurring for the second time, it becomes 2. So after that, next character is O. If O in D, so it is occurring for the first time, yes, condition becomes true. So D of O is equal to 1. So after hello, we have the blank character. So that is also one of the character. If blank not in D, condition becomes true. D of blank character is equal to 1. So after that, after hello, we have world. Okay, then W. If W in D, WO word have entered alien position will come to else. Here D of ch is equal to ch plus 1. That is D to D of O plus 1. So D of O, when you already it is has the value 1. So 1 is 2. D of O is equal to 2. So then next iteration, next is R. So hello world is a string, isn't it? Next character is R. R in D, condition is true.
Sir, again
So
voice break, sir.
1. Next, so for me proper. Next character is L. So L is occurring for the third time. So D of, so here if D of L not in D, condition fails, it will come here. D of L is equal to D of L plus 1. That is D of L is already we have the value 2. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Because it is occurring for the third time and we are updating its value instead of making a re-entry. Then last iteration is D. Hello world. Last character is D. If D not in D, condition is true. That means within the string D is occurring for the first time. So dictionary of D is equal to 1. So now we have reached the end of the string. Now control will come out of the for loop and it will print the dictionary elements. So when it prints the dictionary element, this is the output. This is how it will print the dictionary output. You can see each character has become the key. Each character is a key here. So in a hello string, you can count how many characters are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But here, how many key value pairs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Blank is 5, 6, 7, and 8. Even though we have 11 character in the string, then we have only 8 key values. That means redundant will not be entered. Why? Because we are considering alphabets as the key. It will not allow redundant alphabets to become the key. So that is the takeaway from this example. So through this example, we got two things. One is that redundant values cannot become the key. That is one thing. And how to calculate the frequency of alphabets using dictionary. That is the second takeaway point. Students, any doubt in this? Hello? Hello? Students, anything you want to ask from this? Then how to use the get method of dictionary. Dictionary in Python has a method called get, which takes key and a default value as two arguments. That means get is a function that takes two arguments. One is the key and another one is the default value. If the key is found in the dictionary, then the get function returns corresponding value, otherwise it returns default value. So that means we need to understand the whole purpose of using the get method is to retrieve the value if it is present, if the element is already present. If the element is already not present, then it will return the default value. You can see here we have a dictionary by name Tom, Jerry and Mickey. If you get name dot of Jerry is the key, the first argument is always the key, and the second argument is default value. Default value for Jerry is 0. That means if the key by name Jerry is already existing, retrieve the value of Jerry. If it is not existing, just display 0. That is value. So in the list of Jerry, whose value is 8135, that will be as our get method. Now similarly, now you can check this dictionary. There is no key by name Donald. Now what happens if I try to retrieve the value of Donald? So I cannot retrieve the value of Donald. Why? Because it is not at all existing in the dictionary, and I'm setting the default value as 0. So since it is not existing, it will print the default value 0. So this is how get method will work. So get method works with two parameters. Always the first parameter is the key and the second one is the default value. If the element is already existing, the get method retrieves the value of that key and display it on the terminal. If the element is not at all existing in the dictionary, then it will display the default value. So you can give any default value. You can give -1, you can give 0, any value of your choice as the default value. Then How to use get method for effectively calculating frequency of alphabets in a string. Now we do the same program in some other way by using the get method. Okay. So once again the same problem. So we will enter hello world and we need to find out the character. How to do it effectively get method. See here. So enter the we are asking the user to enter a string. He will enter hello world. Then we are creating a empty dictionary. Then we are applying for loop for the entire string. Then d of ch is equal to d dot get of ch comma 0 plus 1. What is this plus 1? See if the element is not existing. So your default value is 0. Then plus 1. Okay. So that means automatically what happens here, if the element is not at all existing, so it cannot retrieve. So it will display the default value, that is 0, then plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay. Now say for example the element is already existing, then what happens? So it will retrieve its value, whose value will be its frequency plus 1. Once again you are incrementing the counter. Okay. See, when it is not occurring for the first time, you are incrementing its value by 1. That means, so we are saying okay, so this plus 1 will help, the plus 1 will help to increment the value in each iteration. If when you are entering it for the first time, the default value is 0, plus 1 is 1. So you are assigning 1 as so nothing but frequency. Plus, so this is you can see it's only one line logic, only one line. So you need not apply any if condition here. Without applying the if condition, we are able to find out the frequency of occurrences of alphabets. So first get will represents the key and 0 represents the default value. If the element is already found, it will give its value of the element plus 1. So once again we are updating the counter. If it is not at all, if it is existing for the first time, it is occurring for the first time, it does very simple one line for this. Then understood this program. So there will be one question in the exam based on this concept. Frequency of occurrence of alphabets in a given string. Then how to do looping within the dictionary. Looping and dictionaries. When a for loop is applied on dictionaries, it will iterate over the keys of dictionary. This point is important. When a for loop is applied on dictionaries, it iterates over the keys of dictionary. If you want to print the key and value separately, then we need to use the statements as shown. So first create the dictionary. If you want to print both key and value pairs, then separately you have to specify the key. Okay, see here, K is the iteration element, T iteration is the key. So therefore, this K will print what is the key in each iteration, and this will print what is the value in each iteration. So if you are interested in printing both key and value pair, this syntax print of K comma, then specify dictionary of key to print the value. So like this we can deal with the looping while using the dictionaries. Student, that's all for today. I'll take attendance.